Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Okay, continuing in the Mastering the Canteen Cup Cooking Series, we're going to make biscuits in actually a biscuit inside of a canteen cup. Now, understand that the classic where you see rolled out or whatever individual serving biscuits that are a given size, that was done for industrial, that was done for military, that was done for the Navy, that was done for soup kitchen, that was done so that every individual got an equal portion of bread, you know. Otherwise, it's just as easy to make a loaf out of the biscuit, less handwork of cutting them out and laying them, making a single loaf and then just cutting it into pieces. But that didn't guarantee, you know, everybody'd get equal. A lot of guys would take half the loaf for them, you know, so that idea of the individual biscuit is the way we think of it. But you don't really have to do that. And so we're going to just make this dough and put it into a canteen cup and make one biscuit out of a hunk of a canteen cup, and therefore have a portion to eat with a meal or whatever. I could cut it in half, put sausage in it or whatever if I wanted to. But we're going to do it that way. Now to do it, we're going to use the Pathfinder cup system, and we're going to take aluminum foil. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to run off a pretty good piece of aluminum foil. We want this long for a reason. Something about like that. Now, you're going to take the Pathfinder canteen. You're going to put the shiny side to the inside. You're going to put that aluminum foil right in the middle, like that, and then you're going to fold it up using the canteen as a mold. So I've done messed up already. I think I can make it work. But you see this seam right here, that's where the canteen cup comes to. We're going to stop short of it, about a ½ inch down from it, just like this, and we're going to fold it backwards at about a ½ inch down. Fold it over on the side, whatever you got to do to make it work. But we want it to be about ½ an inch down from the top. Okay? Roughly something like that. But while you're doing that, Blackie, we're making a spacer. So that the bottom of the canteen cup, the bottom of the aluminum foil isn't against the bottom of the canteen cup. There's about a finger thick spacer of dead air space between the two. Keep the bottom from burning. Okay, we've done that. Now we're going to take our cup and we're going to slide our cup up and onto that. Very gently, mashing down the aluminum foil, trying not to tear it. When we get it about 3/4 of the way down, here's the jiggly part. Grab the top and hook the canteen cup itself, and now pull out the canteen, leaving that molded in there. It's going to be a little bit of a ticklish, so you're going to have to take a second and do this. Alright? There she goes. Once she breaks free, she'll start coming out. Just like that. Now, opening this up a little bit more. These are going to become the skirts. I'm going to mash it down now all the way, and you can see I've got a preformed chamber that I can put my biscuit dough into. It does not go all the way to the bottom, so there's a dead air space down there. These are going to become heat skirts. And what's going to happen is we're going to pull them out. You're going to see this in a minute when I put the coals. We're going to have coals in a circle around the canteen cup stove. And as the heat is coming up, I want these to come out to catch that rising heat and rotate it back in toward the top. See? I got a lid I'm going to put on top of this. That'll seal it up. But I want these to be catching the heat from those additional coals and funneling that heat back up to the top of the cup. If I put all the heat on the bottom would burn before the top cooked. I'm wanting to catch that heat as it comes up and redirect it to the top of the canteen. So I heat up the canteen cup at the top as much as I do at the bottom, even more so. Okay? That's going to become self-evident in a second once I put this together. Now, let's look at the actual recipe. Okay, the recipe. This is for making one big biscuit, or you can spoon it out to smaller biscuits in regular pan. But it is 1 heaping tablespoon of real mayonnaise. Now, listen to the whole recipe before you do anything. Okay, listen to me. This is the whole recipe. We're going to half this for the Canteen Cup. 1 heaping tablespoon of real mayonnaise. I don't mean salad dressing. I don't mean Miracle Whip. I mean real mayonnaise, like Kraft's. I like Duke's for this. Okay, Duke mayonnaise. For this, we'll half that, so it'll be 1 tablespoon. 1 cup self-rising flour. I like White Lily, and we're going to do a half cup for this. 1/4 cup of milk makes a thick batter. We'll have to divide that down to about 1/8 of a cup. What it is, we're just going to add in to make a thick pancake dough. Okay? And then you're going to add a dash of sugar. I use about 1/4 teaspoon of sugar in there. For this, a 1/2 teaspoon for the full recipe, a pinch of salt, and then you can add other things to try it out. So there's the recipe. I'll put it down in the description box, both in its entirety and in its canteen cup level. Okay? Now, in here I have my flour, and I've already put the mayonnaise in there, and the salt, and the sugar. And now I'm going to do this. I'm just going to mash it up inside that bag. Now, I would be taking a fork if this was in a pan and cutting it in, but I'm doing it like I would do in the field. I'm in no rush for this. It can take me 5 minutes to do this. All I'm going to do is take that flour and just start massaging it inside that bag with that mayonnaise. Now, I know you're wrinkling up and say, oh my God, Blackie, mayonnaise. What is real mayonnaise? Go look at the ingredients. Oil and eggs. If you take oil and you put a blender in it and you put some eggs in it and you start spinning, you make mayonnaise. So all I'm adding to flour is oil and eggs. I'm just doing it in a cream form. That's all. It will not taste like mayonnaise. Now, after I have done this for a couple of minutes and that mayonnaise is fully incorporated in, could you do this with lard? Yeah, you could use lard the same way, but you'd have to take a fork to cut it in. And I've got it completely cut into my flour where I'm not seeing anymore. There are no globs of mayonnaise, it's just the flour. Now I'm going to add my milk to it. Again, how much milk? Well, it would be 1/4 cup of milk to the full recipe. So I got to cut that in half, so about 1/8. But I'm going to eyeball it. I'm just going to add milk in a little at the time and massage it until I get the consistency I want. It's going to be a sticky dough, okay? Something like, thick gravy would be a good way to think of it. Thick like gravy. You know, it's going to be a little more liquidy, but you'll see. I'll open it up and show you. But now I'm going to add my milk to it. Now to add the milk and keep from making a mess, I unzip it and I take one corner and I fold it over, just like that. That makes an opening I can pour into, and it's not going to close up on me. Okay, let me add milk. Okay, I added about what I figured would be about right of milk. I'm going to zip it closed, and now I'm going to start doing this. Just squeeze it to mix it together. Kids would be good to help do this if they can be gentle. And just start a little bit of squeezing. Thought I had a cat behind me. I ain't going to smear it all over this bag. I'm going to keep it down here at the bottom. Look how clean my hands are. And all I'm doing is taking my thumb, you see, and I'm squeezing it together. Making sure I keep it kind of in a ball. And then I take my, and do like that, squeeze it back down to the center. I do that. Now, let me see what my consistency is. I'll open up, peek inside and take a look at it. Yeah, we're pretty close. We are pretty close. Now, again, practice this at home to find out exactly how it's supposed to be. But it's just supposed to be a thick batter. You know, not be able to pour it, but it's supposed to be thick enough I can pick it up with a spoon and be able to dip it out and put it into whatever I'm baking in. Okay. Now that I've done that, we're going to do the easy deployment method. Now, I could spray that aluminum foil with a little bit of oil, but I'm going to pull it up and out and open it up, so it really don't matter. Okay. I'm going to take it, now that I've got it, and I'm going to squeeze it all, make sure it's down here in one place. And now I'm going to take my Swiss Army knife, and I'm going to cut off this corner right here. And we're going to use it like a icing bag. So we're going to cut off about that much of it so it'll come out in a fairly big hunk. Cut that off, pull that up, squeeze that out, cut that off. Now I got an easy deploy, now don't I? Let me set the camera down, I'll show you putting it in the cup. Okay, now I just take it and I start working it from this end that way, squeezing it. Notice how I'm squeezing it between my fingers. Push everything toward that corner. Hard part's working it out of this end right here. Just like that. Squeeze out all of it out of that bag, just like this. Until there's nothing left in that bag. Okay. Now I'm going to use the bag. I'm going to kind of press it out into about a 1/2 inch thick all the way across. Just like that. Now I get rid of that garbage. And there you see it down there in it. Now we get ready for baking. Okay, now I've got my coals going. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spread them out. And I only want one coal underneath. I want the rest to be kind of like evenly distributed in 2 piles to the side. Just like that. And I'm going to put that on there like that. Now I'm going to now I take my lid, I'm going to tightly push that lid down there to hold that heat. I'm going to flare out those skirts, try to catch as much of that heat as I can from the outside. And I'm going to sit it right there over it to catch that heat. And now we start baking. Okay, now this is going to be a slow process. So I'm going to set my timer to, just a second, I'm going to set my timer to 20 minutes. And right there, start. In 20 minutes, I'll check it. 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bingo. Dismiss. Alright, now get your gloves on because this is going to be hot. We're going to pull it off the fire. And we're not going to take that lid off just yet. We're going to let it sit there a minute. And cool down a second. Let me get my table set and we will inspect it. Be right back. Okay. Now, it may need a little bit more time. It's kind of cool this morning. We shall see. Pull the lid off. Steam coming out. Alright, there it is. I'm going to take my blade of my Swiss Army knife and I'm going to run down in there and see if it's fully done. See if the blade comes out clean. And it does. That tells me it is technically done. Alright. It ain't brown on the top, of course. Now we're going to take gloves. We're going to pull the aluminum foil out of the cup. And how we're going to do that, we're going to bow the aluminum foil up, get a hold of the aluminum foil, and see it slides right out of the cup. The cup is relatively clean. Now, let's see about opening this up and see what we got. One big biscuit that you can break in half, and there is our biscuit ready to go. Let me reposition the camera. Okay, a biscuit in a canteen cup. Yeah, it's right. Nice, big, fluffy biscuit. Now, could you use other kind of biscuit recipes? Absolutely. It's made about an 1.25 inch thick biscuit, and you can tear it in half and have two biscuits if you want to put one on the other, or take your knife and slice it. It is a good biscuit, and you can't get no simpler. Now, you need to make sure when you're kneading it in the bag that it is thoroughly incorporated. Otherwise, you'll have pockets of flour that didn't get mixed. And whenever I dumped it, I saw a little bitty pocket. Now, but no, I got it. But make sure you're thoroughly incorporated. Baking time. How long? Well, right now it's about 41 now, 41. And so using those handful of coals and giving it 20 minutes, it cooked and did just fine. You can see how thick that is. So it did just fine in there. This would be perfect to go with a breakfast. You would cook this first. Then you'd sit and pull it out in the aluminum foil, just wrap it on up in that aluminum foil and set it aside. And then you'd go back and make your bacon or your piece of sausage. And then you make your scrambled egg. And then you brought this out to put it together to make a bacon, egg, and sausage biscuit. You could do that. But the bread takes the longest, so cook it first. And it doesn't matter if it's a little bit cool. It needs to be a little bit warm, but you know what I mean. I can keep it warm, so to speak, while my other stuff is cooking. But once eggs get cold, ain't that great to eat. So therefore we keep it going. So, jelly. Next time you're going through the fast food takeout and the breakfast, get some jelly. Take it and throw it in your kit. Those mayonnaises, throw them in your kit. Flour, salt, dash of sugar, a little bit of mayonnaise, and milk. Now, I don't want to use milk, Blackie. I don't want to have to carry it. Okay. Experiment at home and go ahead and start taking milk powder, how much, into a Ziploc bag, and you add X amount of canteen water, and you make equivalent of milk to add to this. So you just in a separate Ziploc bag, add, I'm just guessing here guys, go measure and figure it out. But I think it was something like a tablespoon of milk powder, and then I would put like 3 shot glasses worth of canteen water into that, and a couple of ounces, like 3 ounces of canteen water. Mix that up in the bag, and I'd have the equivalent of milk that I could then pour in here and have it. I haven't made biscuits in a canteen cup in 30 years, guys. This was the very first time I've done it. And no, I didn't cheat and try it off camera before I did it. I did it in front of you guys. So if I was going to go down in flames, I was going to do it in front of you. But you can do it. You can bake bread. Now, what else can you bake? Same idea. I can make muffins. I can make cornbread. There's lots of things I can do by this same technique. The whole thing is putting it in that canteen cup, having a little bit of heat underneath the canteen cup, not a lot. I only had 1 coal. I was using briquettes, but about 1 coal's worth there. Then around the outside is where I want my heat to come up and catch that aluminum foil and it funnel it in, see. So could I do this onto a stove? Yes. Could I do this onto hot coals out of a fire? Yes. But what you need to do is practice. That's the hard part. Like you can't just snap a finger and say, oh, here you go, here's how to do it right every time. It takes dirt, time, and experience. I'm sorry. And breads are one of the masteries. When you get to where you can make bread consistently out there, you'll be a master cook. No doubt. Good and fluffy. Hope you've enjoyed this, guys. If you have, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And excuse me for eating in front of you. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.